So we've been on a pretty disastrous run, really. You saw the start of it. It's continued, unfortunately. But we have got someone in who might possibly be a solution. Let's see. And here is that man, Abdullah Bassett. Ghanaian player. To me, seems pretty decent for the kind of role that I want him to play, which will be probably ball-winning midfielder. So, as you can see there, marking's a 9. That's the lowest attribute he has that's relevant. And to me, at this level, I think that's pretty good. So, along with Di Chiara, I'm hoping that he will be a difference maker. He's had one game so far and wasn't exactly outstanding. But we got a 0-0 draw against Bari, which wasn't a bad result, really. As you can see, we've had some pretty disappointing defeats, though. We had the Virtus Francavilla game that you saw. Got a draw against Fidelsandria, but then lost to Latina as well. And we need to start putting things right. Luckily, we have a slightly easier run coming up now. We need to put a run of wins together because it's not quite over yet. That's the thing. We're 8 points behind Foggia. That's definitely achievable. But we're going to need to start putting a run together, I think. Otherwise, we can kiss goodbye to it once more. That title that we need so badly. In terms of the team for today, got Bassett, obviously, although he's slightly iffy in terms of tiredness. But I think I'm going to keep with him for the time being. The question then is whether we go for Rolla over Di Chiara, and I think we do because Di Chiara has not been playing all that well recently. It gives me the option to bring him on though, so I think that's something that's useful to have. The other question is whether I go for Riella instead of, well, it would be Bassett. He's been playing well recently, obviously mostly I imagine for the youth team. So yeah, you can see here it's for the under-21s, but he's been doing very, very well, or under-20s rather. He's been doing very, very well for them. So I have a feeling this might be a good game to have him in, actually. I'm going to go for it. So Riella will start. Right, definitely a match we should be winning this. Need to get back on track. Riella gets the ball straight away. What I'd like is to see him kind of starting to run the game a little bit because he's got the ability to. He looks like a decent player, Riella. Bianchini, of course, in goal for them. And then you've got Farkash as well. A couple of former Zaffarana players. Gildi shoots but hits the wall. Foggia already winning, so that puts the pressure on us. Although Virtus are ahead of us as well, so it's a useful game because it means that we will be making up points on someone if we can win. Just give Riella a bit of encouragement. Seems to have worked quite well. Arzacena have just turned it round against Juve Stabia, and at the moment are on course for their first win. Can't imagine that will remain that way, but we'll see. We've had all the game, but we haven't really... I mean, I say that. They've had more possession, but we've had all the shots, but we haven't got a single one on target. And they've obviously been low XG as well. So I'd rather we made a bit more of it. We kept the ball a little bit better, tried to build up to a better set of chances. So, we were already working the ball into box. I'm going to get rid of that a little bit. Add that done. See if that makes a difference in the second half. Shadley, very, very Inter-like in their kit. Foggia, Catanzaro and Bari, the top three, are all winning. So we really do need to get this goal and win this game because can't really afford to drop more points on them. Riella doing well. Best player so far in this game. Nilsson's not, but we don't really have anyone else. So it's a bit of a problem, really. We do, however, have someone on the right. Let's bring on Di Chiara for Rolla. We've pressed them well here, kept them back. They had the ball well into our third and we pushed them back, and now a long ball undoes us. Goodness me. Just as I start praising the team, we just let a simple long ball over the top of our defence and goal. Pathetic. Di Chiara now. Can't quite make anything happen. We'll bring on Castelli. Spampato. Di Chiara. Castelli! Almost scores with his first touch there. Paolini to Riella. Oh, found Nilsson. What a goal. Lovely ball from Paolini. And Nilsson gets his first goal for the club. Really good to see. We've got 8 minutes to try and win this game. We do need to win it. This is not a game we can afford to be dropping points in. First shot on target was that goal. We'll be 10 points behind if we don't get the winner, though. Maybe worse. We've got to try and get it. We've got to. We just can't afford to be dropping points against teams like this. Bassett takes it forward. Finds Castelli. Paolini plays in Di Chiara, and Di Chiara's missed it. Paolini crosses the ball in. Another corner. Pressure's on. And he's got it. Spampato gets the winner in the last few seconds. 90 seconds to go. And we've got off the hook here. We haven't played that well. But we've got off the hook. We've got ourselves a much-needed win. Would have been a disaster not to have won this game. Just hold on now. Don't do anything silly. 30 seconds. We should be fine now. And Pato heads it out. Oh, no. Di Francesco's in. Oh, good save for Confente. Might be offside anyway, I think. It was offside. But it's a really nice save from Confente. He didn't know it was offside, so that should be that. Come on, ref. Bassett takes it forward, and that is it. And we've got a much-needed and only, well, I think you could probably argue not really deserved win. Deserved on the stats, perhaps, but we didn't create very much. We did get away with that one. Big time. Good win, though. We will be back for the end of the transfer window, and then I will see you for the Cosenza game after that. So, three-parter today. We've got Bisceglie, end of the transfer window, and Cosenza, and I will be back shortly. Just a small interruption here to point out I've got another coaching license. I've got my Continental Pro, which I think is the top one, isn't it? So I can't get any more, which is great. It shows that I am now as good as I can be in terms of my coaching attributes. Goodness me. It's really good. Wasn't expecting to see quite so many 20s, I have to say. I obviously set it to have no adaptability at all because I don't intend to change countries. But the training does look much better than it was when I started, for sure. Because I used high reputation because I'm Erling Haaland. I played football to a global level, but no licenses whatsoever. So the coaching shouldn't be too high, and it isn't. But you can see it's getting higher because I've got all of those. Thanks to the board, by the way. They've managed to give me all my pro licenses by, what are we, just over 4 years into the game. And that's pretty impressive. So good news there. Hopefully that can translate into improved results on the pitch. And here we go. I did misspeak at the start of earlier in the video. I said the end of the transfer window. Of course, I mean the beginning of the transfer window. And we have signed Vincenzo Vitale just as backup on the wing. I don't think he'll ever be a first choice player, but it's backup we really, really needed because Jonas Nilsson's not really ready yet. Vittorini has left the club. Second top appearance maker ever, Vittorini. Never managed to score a goal, but a little bit of a legend, I think, given how long he was at the club and how he was pretty consistent, actually. If you look at the average ratings, around 7 all the time. But I think we've slightly outgrown him and we've got a bit of money for him, so it seemed to me like the right thing to do. And that is so far the end of my transfer business. We will be looking to try and improve the squad a little bit. We're continually making those little bits of money, and it does mean that we are in a slightly better position financially than we were, certainly at the end of last season. We were 2 million in the red. We're less than 1 million in the red now. But it is clearly a situation in terms of the wage budget that we need to get back under control. And it doesn't help that we're getting players who are quite expensive at the moment. There might be a case that a few of these players need to move on now in terms of trying to get a bit more money for them and see what we can do. But we will see. I'm just trying to think, which of these players could I happily get rid of? Castelli, perhaps? I mean, Castelli's never been brilliant for me, has he? I think Castelli might be someone we can get rid of. Maybe Marino as well. Yep, I think Marino can go too. Get a bit of money for him. And then we've got Vitale coming in. I think for the moment he can come in for Nilsson because I don't think Nilsson's really ready yet. He will almost certainly be playing pretty much exclusively on the left because obviously we've got two decent ones in Roller and in Di Chiara on the right. Di Chiara will play in the next game. So I think that is currently my first team. I'm still looking to improve it. We've obviously got 9 days until the next game, so it's possible we might get 1 or 2 more in. In terms of priorities, I suppose, given his form, maybe a striker, particularly if I'm going to get rid of Castelli. I don't know if it'll be possible, but if I'm going to try and get rid of Castelli. So I think a striker would be quite nice. And I wouldn't say no to another midfielder either. Bassett hasn't been brilliant so far. He's not been bad either, but he hasn't been brilliant. So that could be an option, certainly. Back with you anyway for the Cosenza game. And hopefully I'll have news then of a few more signings for you. And here we go. The first match of 2026 against Cosenza away. Another game we ought to be winning. We've got Di Chiara playing, which is lucky because Roller managed to get himself injured in training. Surprise, surprise. We have got DiMarco approaching fitness again, which is good news. But today, Vicendo Vitale will make his debut on that left side. Not entirely fit, but it's all right for the moment. I imagine DiMarco could probably play a little bit. Yeah, he can play half an hour. So if Vitale can only do an hour, that's fine by me. Right, so Vitale can have a number 33. Right, any names I recognise here? Giovanni Tedesco, I remember. Born in Palermo, interestingly. Played for Palermo amongst other teams, Perugia mainly. I'm not sure why I recognise his names. He played for Fiorentina. Nope, I don't know why I remember the name, but I definitely do. He managed Palermo, although only briefly. Strange, I don't know why I remember the name, but I do. Giovanni Tedesco definitely rings a bell. But none of the players don't think do. I think there are any players here I've had. Certainly no major players playing against us here that we've had. And we're off. Second game of the video, first game of 2026. Can we make something happen today? I'd like to win this game a little bit more convincingly than the last one. It's not a particularly impressive performance. Marcella crosses in and Valente is headed home. So not a great start in terms of making this a more convincing performance than the last one then, is it? Not a huge amount we could have done about that, and possibly the defender could have jumped a bit better. Vitale. Luciano is obviously injured. How badly? Should be able to nurse him through, apparently. Pampato. All the way back to the keeper. It's a bit annoying. Pampato again. This time finds Di Chiara. Di Chiara crosses it in, but Brigliadori can't get on the end of it. Riella to Gioldi. Vitale now. Crosses in. Bassett heads it, and Siracco saves it. We do seem to have had all the game apart from the goal, so that's impressive. But we need to make it count. Brigliadori shoots. Yeah, I've got DiMarco, but he's only ready for half an hour, so I don't really want to bring Vitale off early. Going to have to nurse him through the first 15-20 minutes, I think. Not been a good first half, this. It's becoming a bit of a pattern that we're having to come back from poor starts. Obviously not always managing to do that, which is why our form hasn't been very good. And that's gone over the bar. But this has not been very good at all. We made a good start, apart from the goal, and then we got worse. I'm tempted to throw the bottle, but I'm not going to. I'm going to thrash my arms and say that they're terrible. And they have been motivated by that, which is good news. Vitale, remember, needs to see it through 15-20 minutes here, so that we can safely bring on DiMarco. Don't really want to use Nielsen, because I don't think he's good enough at the moment. Come on, boys, we need more than this. Di Chiara now crosses the ball in, and Gioldi has had a few chances, Gioldi. Probably should have scored a goal by now. Time to bring off Vitale, I think. DiMarco, come on. Chiara's obviously having a bit of a mare out there, so I'm going to bring him off as well. We haven't got Roller, so Paolini it will be. And this, unfortunately, looks not good. This does not look good at all. Sonogo can come on. We're just not creating anything. Second half, we created almost nothing. If we could at least get a draw here, that would be something. It's obviously not a good result, but it would be something. It would help if I confirm the changes, wouldn't it? It seems to me a little bug, because you don't usually have to do that, but just occasionally it doesn't do it without you clicking the confirm changes button. It's irritating. And that's, I think, going to be that. So we dropped further ground, 9 points now off Bari at the top of the table. And this is not looking good again. It's turning into a very frustrating save for me at the moment. After making a lot of progress in those first couple of years, we've kind of stalled, and this year it looks like we might actually go backwards because we are not really at the races at the moment. Got very lucky in the first game today, and that second game is just poor. Right, I'm going to have to go away and have a think about this and think about what I could turn around, because the fact is we've got 1 win in 6 now, and we need to start thinking about how we can turn this around. We've got a couple of tough games coming up. Juve Stabia is always a difficult one. But there's still plenty of games here we ought to be winning before we get to the later, towards the end of the season. We've got Foggia, Virtus, Latina and Bari in the last 5 games. We need to be in a position where those games can actually matter. If I'm within touching distance of the top at that point, then we've got a chance at least. But if these games could just be meaningless, and that's what I want to try and avoid. So I will be back probably for, I was going to say for the youth intake, but that tends to be quite late, doesn't it? And I definitely want to be back for that Foggia Virtus Francavilla game, I think. which will probably encompass the youth intake as well. So we will be back, I think, for Catanzaro, I think, would be a useful one to see. And maybe Avellino as well. So we'll come back with, I think, those two. Avellino, Catanzaro will be back for. And I hope you can join us then. So a pretty disappointing performance, really. Things are going to have to change. Things are going to have to improve. I might even have to think about some tactical tweaks because we have scored 4 goals in the last 6 games and just got the 1 win. So something is going to have to change. But what? I'm not sure yet. Join us tomorrow and I'll hopefully be able to show you. See you then.